And I'm here to bum you out as usual. Yeah, that's okay. Not going to be seasonal. Sorry. But I'm going to join the men in hats here. And it's a little passage from Edward II. It's about an unfortunate phenomenon that we call war. When Paris ate King Menelaus's bread and salt in Menelaus's house, the wife of Menelaus slept with him, according to the ancient chronicles, and lay beside him in his bunk bed as they sailed for Troy. Troy laughed, and it seemed only fair to laughing Troy. Greece thought the same, to give this willing flesh named Helen back to her Greek husband, but she was a whore. Lord Paris alone demurred understandably, said she wasn't well. Meanwhile, ships came, Greek ships. Ships multiplied like fleas. One morning, the Greeks broke into Paris's house to take the Greek whore back. Paris yelled from the window that this was his house, this was his city. And the Trojans, thinking he wasn't wrong, applauded with a grin. Later, the Greeks lay stretched out on their furled sails, fishing, until in an alehouse, in the sailors' quarters, one man bloodied another man's nose, claiming it was for Helen. Quite unexpectedly, in the days that followed, the hands of many reached for many throats. From the battered ships they speared the drowning like tuna fish. Under the waxing moon, many were missing from their tents, and in the houses, many were found headless. The crabs in the Scamander grew fat in those years, but no one ate them. On the lookout for stormy weather in the morning, worried only whether fish would bite in the evening, towards noon, bewildered and willing, they all fell. Seen at 10 o'clock, they still had human faces. Toward 11, forgetting their native speech, the Trojan sees Troy, the Greek sees Greece no longer. Instead, they see the metamorphosis of human lips into the fangs of tigers. Towards noon, teeth hit the flanks of fellow animals, and the groaning begins. Yet were there one man on the embattled wall who knew and called them by their name, according to their kind, many would stop in their tracks. It would be good if they would simply vanish, still fighting on suddenly aging ships, sinking under their feet, by nightfall, nameless. But no, more terribly, they killed each other. And that war dragged on 10 years, and was named Trojan, and was ended by a horse. If the inhuman human ear of understanding had not for the most part been stopped up, no matter whether Helen was a whore or a grandmother with a host of healthy children, Troy, 4 times larger than our London, would still be standing. Hector would not have perished with his bleeding genitals. Dogs would not have spat on the ancient hair of weeping Priam, and that whole race of men would not have died out in the noontide of its day. Quod erat demonstrandum. It's true that in that case, we would not have had the Iliad.